Hey guys, it's one of those days again where I just feel like I've had enough. I'm always the one that I like to voice my opinion. I like to hear myself talk, and I like to point out things that I think are wrong in the business or could be done better in the business. And over the last couple of weeks, there has just been an accumulation of more and more and more and things that are just, as an insider and sometimes standing on the outside, just looking at it and seeing like what is wrong. It's like blatantly wrong, and nobody does anything, nobody says anything, because it almost feels like everybody is in on it. So bear with me, this is gonna be, I made a list. It's like, it's like it's three topics. It's like what's wrong with the federation, what's wrong with the horse shows, and what's wrong with trainers. And like I said, it's a list. Like you can't even comprehend like all the BS that is like going wrong for so long. From who is an amateur, who's not an amateur, what are the rules, why are some of those rules, like who makes the rules, like what is the whole, like why are horse shows getting more and more expensive, why can nobody afford to go horse show anymore, and why are trainers still forcing people to do 12 weeks of circuits at the same stinking place. Like so many things that don't make any sense. I would like to break it down, and if it gets too long, I just maybe just make a I just make a podcast out of it or whatever. Or like I just chop it down in multiple parts. But like all this that I've written down here, I just want to get off my chest. Like there's so much wrong with what's going on. So let's start at the horse shows. Pet peeve of mine. For the longest time, I have been saying, with all the shit that goes wrong at the horse shows, it's the horse show organizers' fault. They created whatever is not working. Entitled people in the warm up, entitled people yelling at office staff, making other people wait at the in gate for them, and all that kind of stuff. Horse shows created those monsters of these no good wannabe elitist, and I don't even know, like I can't even call them trainers, because trainer would mean there is an athletic standpoint behind it, which I feel like there's not anymore. Like everybody calls their people clients. Like what is that? Like, are you McDonald's? Are you selling burgers? Like, why do you have clients? The problem is, if you have clients, you always tell them like, yes, you're right, customers always king, we do what you want to do, da 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 da. Like, we don't have proper trainers anymore. These old school proper trainers that had horsemanship in mind, in number one, it's a dying out group. Like hardly any of them are left. And like what I see now, it's like you see people on the ground that they couldn't get into the tech and ride themselves. They couldn't make it any better themselves. It's like, it's mind boggling. Like, they can't train horses if now. Okay, guys, you need to put in the comments what else I can use in the word, in the context of trainer, because I refuse to call them trainers. None of them are trainers. They're like horse show nannies. That's what they are. They take their adults and the kids on the hand and say, "You're good, you're fine, everything is fine. No, boo-hoo, the bad horse is fault. Let's buy you a new one." Like horse show nannies. That's what they are. They're stinking horse show nannies. So then you have horse show nannies that are standing in the warm-up ring, giving lessons on end, making people wait, and all that kind of stuff. So let's go down the list what the horse shows allowed people to do that I think are wrong in our sport. So first of all, show attire. Since when is it okay to ride around during the week or whatever in sloppy clothes, a hoodie, like all that kind of stuff? Like Where did the elegance of our sport go? And I know there are some people that are like, oh my God, Johnny, get with the time. We're evolving and this and that. And. So, whatever. Like, you can run around like this at home, but show the sport and your horse a little bit more respect. You know, because when your little groom brings the horse to the mountain block and they look like slobber and shit all over them, you're going to make a stink about it. You entitled little brat. But then you run around in like jogging pants and a hoodie and ride around and think like, I'm the new hipster and that is so okay, because I drink my latte chapamino and like I'm so cool. Which brings me to another one, sloppy course walks. If I see people in the course walk in their jogging pants and Crocs and hoodies and this and that, and then like eating pommes frites and like just picking their nose, drinking their frappuccinos, and like you are not even in the moment. Like you shouldn't be walking a course. If you look like that, go work at Walmart, but don't be at a horse show and run around like that. It's like, it's unbelievable. Again, points that I'm making that horse show organizers have allowed to happen, never enforced it, never educated the people to say like, hey, come on, get dressed. You can't run around like a sloppy. It's a proper horse show, like, and I see people at like AA, AAA rated horse shows run around on the showgrounds in the course like, I don't know, you're somewhere at like Mary Lou's backyard. It's unbelievable. It drives me nuts. You have to wear your proper show attire on classic day or whatever. Anyways, walk the stinking course. To me, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to start implementing and I'm going to give suggestions for like yellow cards. You go sloppy in your course walk, yellow card, unsportsmanlike behavior. You ride around sloppy, on the judge's card, it's eliminated. It's like no proper show attire. You look like a slop, I'm going to give you a score like a slop. Let people feel it so that they make changes. But again, the horse shows, let it slip, let it slide. They're like, oh my God, just make him feel welcome. And blah, 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 blah. Like they started by allowing all that and not educating the people properly on how to act, behave, and conduct yourself at a horse show, to make the horse shows feel like it's a schlop fest. It's unbelievable. So what else do we have on my list? Warm up arena rules. Well, talk about that mayhem that is happening at every show. Worst thing I've ever witnessed in a warm-up ring was at an outreach show where there were horse show nannies with all their kids and their amateurs, and not even the horse show nannies knew the warm-up ring rules when it comes to red flag on the right side, white flag on the left side, setting jumps properly, how to pass, like they could, like when I was standing there and I was like, you just jumped your oxer backwards. They were like, what? Really? Did I? What the hell? So I would love for stewards, and that is another topic that's like on the other side here. I would like for stewards to be more involved at the warm-up ring. Most horse shows that I see, the steward is like somewhere in the golf cart, way beyond. And every once in a while they come like chipping out and be like, excuse me, I think your oxer rail is a little bit offset or whatever. I want stewards in the warm-up ring and start educating people, call people out, rude behavior, shitty warm-up etiquette. Call him out, unsportsmanlike behavior, yellow card. Learn it for the next time. 2 yellow cards, you're not allowed to come back for the horse show for 2 weeks. See how fast people will get their stinking act together and be proper human beings at a horse show and like actually pay attention and respect to the sport. Lessons in the warm-up ring. Like, you get a jump, you're 4 out, and you're doing a 20-minute lesson. You're definitely not making your 4th spot. You're definitely not going into the next rotation. You're just going to be hogging a jump for 20 minutes while you do what you horse show nanny should have done at home. Properly teach your students. But because you have clients, all you do is like the bare stinking minimum and then schlep him to the show so that you can make a little bit more money. If they're ready or not, here we come. No regards for horses' well-being, riders' well-being, or any other thing. Schlep him to the show, get some extra money, ready or not, here we come. Holding rings. Okay. With these magnitudes of this horse show that grew completely out of proportion, like there's no need for horse shows that have like 10, 12, 16, 17, 18 rings. That is retarded. Like, again, horse shows brought it upon themselves by, we need it bigger, we need it more, we need it bigger, we need it more. For what reason? Financial gain. That's it. There's no other reason behind it. Not to make the sport better, not to make the riders better, not to make the horses better. None of it. At the cause of it, no other thing. So I get it when there's like conflicts, when one has to be here, one has to be there. But listen to this. Now listen to this. I'm not from here. I'm coming from a country where my trainer sent me off to the horse show by myself. As a teenager, whatever. So, my students know exactly what to do. They know how to walk a course. They know how to warm up their horse. And they know under no circuit reasons or whatever, if I will not make it to be there, you will not hold the ring under no circumstances, unless I tell you otherwise. It's a big deal or whatever, or something happens. You do not hold the ring on my behalf. If you can't walk your course, if you can't warm up your horse, and if somebody is there that can set jumps for you, and if you can't just do that one class all by yourself, you should not be at the horse show, period. There's no discussion. There's no this hand holding, like spoon feeding it to like the dumbest person in the room has nothing to do with sport. It's horse show nannying. It has nothing to do at A circuit shows. If you are at that level, stop wasting your money to go to WEC, to HITS, to Culpeper, to Michigan, to all these big fancy horse shows, Tryon, whatever. Stop wasting your money. If you cannot handle that, you need to go to local shows. Go to grassroots shows. Go somewhere where you can learn it. Stop wasting your money at these big money shows. It is retarded. It is a waste of time. It is a waste of resources. And just because your trainer is making more money there and schleps you to that show, or maybe little internet Karen, maybe you want to have that fancy picture from like WEC in the stadium and in the Grand Arena. That's why we're going there. Wrong priorities. Absolutely wrong priorities. You know how many times I saw that? At rated shows, riders riding in to a classic or whatever, proper shows, collar open on the girls, no tie for the guys. No steward says a thing, no judge says a thing, no one says a thing. I, as a trainer, if I see my kid riding around, the last thing I'm going to tell them before they head into the ring, close your collar, put your tie on, or whatever. Like, again, that's what a trainer does, but not a horse show nanny. A horse show nanny is like, with her coffee and like, most of the time there's like tequila mixed in it anyways, they sit on their fat fucking golf carts and have like the mixed drinks and everything. They don't even care. They don't even care. They just want to schlep you to the show, get the extra money, pat you on the head and tell you like how amazing you were. And if you weren't amazing, then it has to be the horse's fault. Oh my God, I think we need a trainer ride. I think we need to put somebody else on it to fix your horse. I think we're going to call that guy if he can ride it for you. Maybe he can kick it around so that you then just plump your butt back in the saddle and the next time you get another ribbon for what? For nothing. For a made up thing. It's unbelievable. Warm-up lessons. We covered that one. Trainers put their students in appropriate classes. Horse show nannies put them in wherever the little ones want to go. If they ride like a box of chips in the meter 10 and they say, but tomorrow I want to do the meter 20. Horse show nanny says like, okay, my little girl, yes, we do. And the problem, again, with horse shows, no regulations. You can do that. Open classes is a free fall. There is people at shows in classes that either don't belong to the horse show period or don't belong in certain classes. And there is nothing anyone does about it. Nothing. It is almost encouraged. It is almost set up in a way where you make people fail upwards. Upwards, upwards, upwards. My student tells me I want to ride a meter 30 and they can't properly complete a meter 20 course. Under my watch, it is not happening because my number one is I'm going to protect your horse. I'm going to protect the horse. And if it has to be protected from you, then I'm doing that as well. And I do not care about your feelings. If you're like, oh my God, but I think I'm a good. No. Either you get with a program or you're not with a program at all. I will not be the one on the sidelines watching you crash and burn just because you thought it was a great stinking idea for that one picture to go into the big arena so you can post it on Instagram. Hashtag blast, guys. Hashtag blast. Grand arena. But if you look at the scores, you like fell off, 3 down, 1 stop, whatever, but still, hashtag blast, drives me mad. Again, no regulations, nothing. The other thing that drives me absolutely wild, horse show nanny standing at the in-gate and yelling into the course the entire ride. It is beyond stupid. Every once in a while, life-threatening intervention, maybe, where you say like, whoa, slow down, you're about to kill yourself. But constantly. And you know what the worst thing is? When I'm at the in-gate and I listen to what they're yelling into the course, it drives me fucking crazy. Faster, faster, pull on the inside, turn, kick, whip him, pull harder, kick harder. It's like, why would you encourage that? They already ride like a bag of chips and you're still yelling that they should do it worse. Again, you're just chasing that one moment after you called this rider and that rider to fix this girl's horse because you can't do it yourself because you probably already have like one too many in to cope with all your clients. But then what you then do is you just sit there and yell all the garbage into the ring that makes it worse. I do not understand it. Again, there should be a steward that would say like, horse show nanny, zip it. Stop yelling into the ring, outside help, outside interference, whatever it is. Like emergency situations, I understand. But if you have to spoon feed an entire course from start to finish, then I repeat myself, you have no business being at a big AA rated horse show. You should be at a local show where you get your experience, and then once you are ready, then you step into the bigger steps. But here, there's no qualification system. There's no ladder of achievement that you have to do in order to get somewhere. There's no like, wow, woo, great season, you did it. Here's a badge, now you can move up. Again, it's free for all. Can you ride a meter 20? No. Have you ever done a meter 10? No. Has your horse ever done a meter 10? No. You have a check? Yeah. Welcome in. Let's wreck this whole course into the ground with zero disregards to the well-being of your horse. Duh. I mean, like, you cannot set it up any worse. The best way to describe it, the way I grew up in Europe, it was a sport. Here in America, equestrianism is not a sport. It's a pageantry. It's an exhibition. It's like dance moms. It is dance moms. It actually is like dance moms. You have the horse show nannies, and all they care about is the glitz and glam and this and that. Zero disregard. As long as we can say like, sponsored by and hashtag by and blessed here and blessed there, and we just can wreck one horse after another. And then you know what the most disturbing part about that is you wreck a horse because, first of all, you cannot coach your students because you don't have students, you have clients, right? So you're a shitty coach. You can't prep them properly for the horse show. You're not good enough of prepping the horse and the rider together. And then your judgment of putting them into the wrong classes totally wrecks the poor horse. Best thing you do is you call somebody up, put him on, kick him in the arse, make him go again, so that he knows who's the boss, And then if it still doesn't go because now you wrecked it beyond repair, okay, we buy a new one. Whatever, we just buy a new one. So easy. So whose fault is it now? Is it the horse? Because horse show nanny would never take accountability in either buying the wrong horse, not being a good enough coach, or being horrible management at the horse show and putting people into wrong classes or whatever. So who does it fall back on? Always the horse. Number one victim with this entire system is always the horse. Over and over and over again. Then that horse is like, I don't like it anymore. Sell it or lease it or whatever. So now this horse will get leased out or sold with the stigma of being a problem horse, which he was not, she was not, it was not. Never until you guys made it a problem horse. It's unbelievable. No accountability. Nada. Nothing. The other thing that I would like to implement is yellow cards for unsportsmanlike behavior. If you leave the warm-up ring in a bloody mess, you cannot imagine how many times I walk into the warm-up ring and people in front of me, they're like, okay, thank you, we're done. And they walk off. And there is a pole, 8 strides in that direction. There's a pole, 4 strides in that direction. They just dismantled the last jump because they just landed right in the middle of it. Everything is on the ground. On top of that, there's coffee cups, M&M bags, water bottles, everything, all that trash lying around where I'm like, and now I have to clean up your mess just so that I can start warming up my student. I have to pick up your garbage, your rails, your mess, your this and that, just for me to be able to start warming up my student. If you go into the warm-up ring as the first, second, third, fourth, whatever, how many jumps they have after a water and drag break, you will find 4 jumps perfectly set together, ready for you to start. My rule would be, if you do not leave the warm-up jump the way you found it, which, if it's a chain, it will always be all the material back together. If you do not leave the warm-up area the way you found it, yellow card. Boom, right there. First warning, 2 yellow cards, 2 weeks no showing. It is a blatant disrespect, not just to me, my time, my students, my horses, the horse show organizers, the grounds crew that constantly have to run around. And it's just like, again, the horse show created these entitled witches that are running around just like, somebody will pick it up, somebody will get it. I'm not picking up poop. I'm not throwing away my garbage. I'm not cleaning up here. Horse shows have created those type of peoples, and it's biting them in their ass right now. And you know what the problem is? If you're wondering why horse shows are becoming so exuberant, stupidly expensive, is because of entitled, stupid people like that. I'm not picking up my shit. Okay, then we hire somebody. I'm not cleaning up my mess. Okay, then we hire somebody. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Okay, then we hire people for that. It's like the labor overhead that is required to pick up your lazy asses is what makes the horse show so expensive. And then, because you can't behave at the horse show, it's rule after rule after rule after rule, which then have to be enforced, which then the enforcers have to be paid. So you people are making these horse shows so darn expensive, which, again, as long as my list is, there's definitely something that I'm going to come right back to. Warm-up jumps, yellow card, warm-up rules, sloppy coursework. We have all that, right? So, topic trainers. I say trainers now because that's how I wrote it down. But do you guys know, when I say trainers, I mean horse show nannies, right? So, I already explained the difference between a client and a student, right? So, now when it comes down to stuff like that, this handcuffed mentality that your trainer owns the student or the trainer owns the client, so to say, right? God forbid you speak to another trainer. God forbid you want to take another lesson. God forbid you want to go to a clinic or something like that. It used to be encouraged if there was a clinic in town. All the trainers were like, go there, go here, go there, go learn something from him, go learn something from there. We have these horse show nannies that are neither certified, maybe shouldn't even be a trainer to begin with, because they have zero accreditation, zero credibility, nothing behind on a horsemanship basis that would give grounds for being called a trainer or a professional, running barns full of kids, and those middle-brained nannies are now teaching the next generation of screw-ups how to not do it. I'm going to give you one example. I don't know if I can say that. Yeah, fuck, I was at WEC. So, I was at WEC, standing at the in gate, waiting for a class to start where one of my students is in. Waiting for that, there's a guy riding, again, like a bag of chips, wraps around, tries to do an inside turn where there's no inside turn, has the horse bent to the outside, way too tight, horse doesn't see it, last second. It was just a poorly ridden inside turn. The horse looks, spooks, stops, and like a bag of chips, that guy goes into the ground. Into the ground. Whack, falls off. The horse just like trots off. One of the course guys catches the horse, brings it back to that guy. The guy grabs the horse, walks out, just made it out of the in-gate, and starts yanking on the horse, reprimanding the horse, pulling and screaming and bam, bam. You know what happened? Nothing. The judges in the window had clear sight. They could have said something. The stewards sitting on their golf cart, not allowed to say something. Nothing happened. Nothing. Okay, something happened because I can't shut my damn mouth. So I told him, I was like, hey, it's enough now. Stop it. And I might have said that he rode like a bag of chips and that it was his own fault and there's no reason to reprimand the horse, right? So under my first thought that I had at that moment, I was like, poor amateur, not here with the trainer, just comes out. Because like when he came out, there was like no ground crew or whatever. Like, you didn't do anything wrong, little blessed, Nobody was there. So I was like, here, doesn't have a trainer, doesn't have a supporting crew, whatever. Like maybe I just educated an amateur that it's not okay to reprimand your horse multiple times at the ingate for a stop that you are actually the reason for, right? And I just hooked it off like that. I was like, okay, that's it, fine, next time. So now the coursework is for my student. Guess what? The person that I thought was an amateur is a stinking trainer that now walks the course with 4 little kids. So basically, that sent me absolutely over the edge because the only thing I was thinking about now, shit, now this person acted this way, showing to his students that that kind of behavior is okay. Leading by example. Great stinking example. So that made me even more mad, where I was like, it's not even an uneducated like hobby rider or whatever that didn't know any better and maybe lost their cool. It was somebody that is teaching the next generation of kids, which blew my mind, made me even more mad. Unbelievable. So, shows, trainers, like my 2 topics are here. And the thing is, like, my great grandma always said, I mean, she said it in German, der Fisch fängt immer am Kopf zu stinken an. Which basically means the fish always starts smelling at the head. So where is all this BS coming from? Why do we have horse show nannies that are allowed to have a barn full of kids and barely educate them, have zero horsemanship in their repertoire, zero accountability at shows, bad guidance, bad mentorship, all that? Why do we have that? At the horse shows, why do we have this cluster of things that we know is wrong? Of, okay, can I ride this class? Can I not ride this class? Shit, I just gave a lunge line lesson. Am I now a professional? What am I now? Am I an amateur? Am I a professional? But then you have people that are in this industry who have a sales barn. They buy horses in Europe. They ship them over. They ride them here. They win money at the shows. They breed. They sell. They ride and this and that. They might not give lessons, but their entire livelihood, anything they do, every single breadcrumb on their table is paid by the horse industry. But because they're not giving a lesson, they are amateurs. I mean, guys, like, what are we doing here? Like, to me, this whole amateur professional thing is the biggest garbage political BS, and as it is flaky as fuck. You gotta say it. It is flaky as. I mean, so where does it start? You want to see it? What it says? Let's start with the federation. The fish always starts stinking at the head. The federation in my mind, has zero accountability to call themselves a sports federation. It is a exhibition organization tool at most. To me, Youssef should not be allowed to nominate riders to go to Nations Cup, Olympic Games, anything that is international comparable with other federations that run it as a sport. This federation allowed horse shows to do what they're doing now. This federation has allowed horse show nannies to grow, infiltrate a sport, and dilute it with bad manners, bad horsemanship, bad riding, bad training, bad attitude, and absolute entitlement. They have zero regulations to who can call themselves a professional, who can call themselves a trainer. There is, so let me give you an example, right? So you are buying $100,000 horse. You are about to spend $5,000 a month on boarding, training, farrier, vet, Plus, you're going to spend roughly what, $1,200 a week at one of these big fancy shows where you can take an Instagram picture and go #blessed. And you just go to Lucy in the Sky. Like, it would be the same as if I walk into a hospital and say, like, hey guys, I need open heart surgery. What you got? We're just like, well, we got Ishmael there. He watched a YouTube video once about open heart surgery, and I'm like, that's good enough. Should do it. That's fine. I mean, anyone can just, here's the thing again, getting into the motion of like, money rules the world, which is fine. I like money. We all like money. But just because you have money and your mommy and daddy buy you a farm and your first trailer or this or that or whatever, shouldn't automatically open up to say like, oh, you have a farm? You have 30 stalls? Now you're a trainer. There is zero accountability from the federation to govern, to say like, oh, that's a bad egg. That one can't ride for shit. That one shouldn't teach the next generation. Or this one has zero background. The people that call themselves professional and trainers have a Mexican drive the truck and trailer, don't know how to take a shoe off if necessary, don't know how to tack one back on, have zero idea about like any of the outside stuff because they have a person for this, they have a person for that. There's like, and I'm talking first-hand experience with like some of professionals that I had conversations with where I was like, you have no idea how much you don't know about the whole horse, the whole care package, the whole horsemanship, what all goes in it to be really a trainer, a true professional, a true horseman. But the federation has allowed it so that any Lucy in the Sky can call herself a professional, a trainer, open up ship, and just ill prepare and ill teach and ill train horses, students, and make bad decisions at home, at the show, and anywhere else. Again, number one victim here will always be the horse. So, we have a federation that has zero regards to horsemanship, because like some of these rules that they put out about like don't use this, don't do that, da 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 da. Switch the light on switch the light off at night, which I'm a big fan of. But then again, there's like zero going after. You know how many horse shows I've been to since that rule came into place, where there's like no lights out? They're just like, no enforcement, meh. You know, talking about enforcement, let me just quickly go like a swip swap here, right? So, enforcement for me at the horse show should be by the stewards. I have spoken to multiple stewards at horse shows where I was like, why are you not doing anything about this? Don't you see this? Haven't you seen that? Why aren't you not addressing this? I have heard from multiple stewards now that they got complaints from horse show management that they are too rude, not nice enough, and they don't make their customers feel welcome, and that they need to back off. This, to me, is the biggest red flag of them all. This is, and now we're going back to the federation, rule enforcement by stewards need to happen. They need to happen drastically. Stewards need to be continuously educated. They need to have like every 6 months, like a refreshment course. What's new? What's here? What's hip? What's that? What is this? What is happening in the world? What are we doing? There has to be a continuous education that is mandatory, first of all. Second of all, it is a massive conflict of interest if stewards that are supposed to regulate the show according to federation's rules are paid by a private company that is running that horse show. If a steward is paid by the horse show, you do not bite the hand that feeds you. So if the steward enforces the rules and goes after bad apples in the warm-up ring or on the showgrounds, and they go whining to the show management and say, do you know that I have 24 horses here? The horse show management is going to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna do something about it. I'm so sorry. Please stay here. We want to have your money. You can do whatever you want. And then the horse show office goes to that steward and says like, you need to pipe the fuck down. You're scaring off our customers. Big, big, big conflict of interest. To me, a steward, for the sake of the horse, needs to be a pit bull. A pit bull in the ring, a pit bull at the warm-up ring. They need to be walking down the aisles in the barn. They need to, like, it's like FEI. It's like you have the guys that are running around there and just like, oh, don't use that cream, don't use that boot. Oh, what are you doing? Do you have a lanyard? You know, they are fucking pit bulls. We need that. We real horse people want that. We want the pit bulls in the warm-up ring to tell all these shady mother crickets to get in line or get yellow carded or get sent off from the horse show grounds. If you are not enforcing the rules, or if you're placing people under an umbrella where they can't bite the hand that feeds them, how real are you actually about your rules? Stewards and horse show judges have to be paid by the federation. Could you imagine you have a football game in Tampa, Florida, home game, where the referees, the linemen, the flag guys, I'm not a football guy, so I don't know all the terminology, but all the officials, because it's a home game, are being paid by the Tampa team? Nobody would believe the calls. Everybody would question it. So this tells me again that USEF is not a sports federation. It's just lingering around, collecting money, and hopefully sending the next big team to the Olympic Games. But what happens at the national level and the local level is absolutely ill mismanaged. And I go up to Kentucky and I will sit down with anyone who dares to sit down with me to talk about this. But change is not going to happen. That is the problem. It's a big body with a committee here, a committee there, a committee here, a committee there. So if you want to do change, it goes through committee and committee and committee. You know who sits on committees? Horse show organizers, horse show nannies. You know, you have a majority of people that are so detached from the real sport of this time and age, making committees, making rules, saying yes to rules, no to rules, whatever, where it's just like, you cannot make a real change the way the system is set up. It is a failed system, and if there's no big change, it will forever be a failed system. Let's talk about, again, a sports organization that calls themselves a sports organization and is not there for the horse or the rider. Why is there zero equipment regulation on a national level? I have seen the biggest, sharpest bits in the most uneducated hands at the horse show. And it is completely legal with any disregard of the horse's well-being. A sharper bit requires a more educated hand. But no horse show nanny that just calls herself a trainer walks into there and say like, oh my God, after I yelled faster, faster, faster for 3 months, now we can't hold that stinking donkey. What do? We put a sharper bit in. That'll teach him. I mean, again, zero disregard to the horse. Zero. So tell me again that you're a sports organization, that you are here to make the sport better. You are not. It has nothing to do with sport. Exhibition, dance moms. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's pump and circumstances. It's nothing has to do with the well-being of the horse. Every once in a while, there's a rule where it's just like, okay, you cannot give formaldehyde to your horse before the hunter class. And that is your big achievement. What about you hang those people that are doing those to the horses, but now they're still riding around. You know who they are. You know what they've done, but there's zero repercussions. Zero. Maybe because they have 30 clients. Some of them are billionaires funding stuff. So all of that, you're gonna let slide. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, why are those people still running around? You know who they are. Drives me mad. Horse and rider protection. Not happening. Why can any horse and rider combination enter any class they wish? I could pull a 4-year-old out of a field right now that has never jumped anything, and according to the horse show rules, which are sanctioned by your sports federation. Oh, look at that. There's a British accent coming through now. By your sports federation, I can take that 4-year-old and be like, I want to jump him in the Grand Prix. Has your horse ever jumped anything other? Like meter 30, meter 40? Nah. How old is your horse? 4, maybe 5, turning 5 next month. You have a check? Yeah. Off you go. So tell me again, you're a sports federation with no regulations, no success ladder that you have to climb up, that you have to qualify for the next level, that you have to prove to your horse and yourself that you're good enough to make that next step. Tell me again, your sports organization. Neither the horse nor the rider have any qualifications to show for in order to jib and jab and run around the horse show and run around the stuff and this and that. Tell me, why is that? Because you're a sports organization, right? There should be a system in place. And that would solve your totally wishy-washy gray area, amateur, non-amateur. Youssef has all the means and gets reported all results of horses, all results of riders, any shows they went to, any classes they went to, any placings they did, any rails they had, refusals they had, faults they had. They are having all the information, because all you have to do is go on the Youssef website, type in a horse's name or a rider's name, and you get all that. Anything that happened before, you get all of that. In order to make it safe and fair for competition for everybody, why are you not implementing a total idiot-proof, simple point system? You ride in the 90s, each round you get, with your placing, you collect points. There is a point benchmark. If you don't reach it, at the end of the season, you're not moving up. Because realistically, those points showed me that you're not good enough to move up yet. And for the sake of the horse, which a sports federation should be concerned for, your points say you are not moving up. That would also regulate the horse show nannies that are encouraging shitty behavior like that, moving people up that shouldn't move up. Then you would take the pressure off of proper trainers that are losing weird-ass students that say like, I want to jump meter 30. You're not ready for meter 30. I want to jump meter 30. You're not ready for meter 30. I'm going to find another person that will let me drive meter 30. Bye-bye. Off you go. You know how many good trainers where their life depends on having students in their barn to feed their families, put food on their table, would love to just like say, put the hammer down, say like, no, you're not good enough. I think you could do it, but look at your points. Sorry, rules are rules. That would protect so many well-meaning professionals from having to have that conversation with their people and be like, oh, for crying out loud, Okay, people that know me know that like some of that stuff from me goes unfiltered. But again, my number one is I need to protect the horse. And even if it is protecting them from their own rider that delusionally thinks they are better than they are and they want to have that great picture from the grand arena for her Instagram story, #blessed. But why do I have to do that? Why does my sports federation not have regulations like that in place that protects the horse from misuse of riders that are riding in classes that they have no business of being in? Same for the horse. Every horse has a record. Every horse can collect ribbons, points, whatever. So if somebody has a horse that is like, I don't know, has like a couple of holes in a meter 30 record, like not with the previous rider, not with the current rider, there's just like not very good in the meter 30s. If somebody tries to enter that horse in the meter 40s, there should be a red flag coming up and say like, that's not fair to the horse. He's struggling in the meter 30s. And I don't care about your personal goals because I'm a sports federation that looks out for the best interest of the horse foremost, and then you as a competitor. And we're trying to create a system that brings you up in a way that is safe, logical, and success orientated, and not just money driven. Another class, another class, another class, another class, another class, another class. Who is the number one victim again? The horse. Who doesn't care about it? Your federation, your sports federation. Tell me I'm wrong. So now you could use that point system not just to regulate, to have horses and riders, matching them together, how appropriate the next classes are. And if they are like good, solid rounds, meter 20, solid rounds, meter 20, and they can show that, and their points reflect that for a period of time, next level unlocked. That easy. That simple. And if it's more of like a dip and dash and dip and dash, and you're like, okay, you're kind of like 20 points short of like being successful, then that clearly tells you that they are not good enough to move up. Easy as that. And you know who that would protect? The horse. But why do I have to say that? Why does the Sports Federation not do any of that? Because all it is, it's an exhibition. Pump and circumstance. Nothing behind it that makes proper sense. Wishy-washy, kissing as many asses as possible, the track of least resistance. My great-grandmother, there's another one, nur tote Fische schwimmen mit dem Strom, which kind of means only dead fish swim downstream. Right? But trainer certification, we have that. There has to be a certification. There has to be something in place where you just say like, sorry guys, we're working with big animals that are like, horse riding is one of the most dangerous sports in the world. And you put people in charge that have zero accreditation, zero story background behind them, that are not horsemen, that are just sitting on the golf carts with their mixed drinks, getting through the day because, oh my God, these clients are so annoying. Then why are you doing that? Horse show nanny? Just so you can stand there, put some money in your pocket, schlep your people to horse shows where they have no business of being it. What else do we have? No sport rules, point system. Again, like, simple as that. And that way you can also eliminate your totally wishy-washy amateur rule. Who's an amateur, who's a pro? You just run everything off of point system. You have a meter 30 class. You have at horse shows, you have the child and adult carts run open at the same time. So now you can have a meter 30 class, and now you have two carts open. 0 to 5,000 points and 5,001 points to open. That's how you split the class. So now you have the cards running at the same time, but now logically the people from a point system that are close together are now competing against each other, and now the people with the big points that belong to each other are competing against each other. Right? Doesn't that make sense? And then the fun part is, so now the little class, the winner had 38 seconds. In the big class, because all the pros are riding there, the winner had 34 seconds. So now the winner of that class can look at it and say like, ooh, so if I compare myself now to these guys, I would have been 7th and not the winner. Now they know they need to go home and up their game. Get better, collect more points, and then measure yourself with the people in your bracket. The other thing is Grand Prix riders that are constantly riding on a Saturday night Grand Prix, on a Sunday going in amateur classes. I mean, again, your point system would tell them like, come on. Is that really the sports thought behind here? Or is it just about the money? Getting an entry after 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 an entry. If it's fair or not, doesn't matter. I'm not saying that amateurs can't ride a Grand Prix, but if they are that good that they have 2 or 3 horses on a Saturday night Grand Prix, clearly they have way too many points to compete against the legit, having a normal job, weekend kind of horse show rider. That's not fair. That's not sport. But why would a sport organization regulate that properly? Tell me I'm wrong. Can anyone tell me why they took combinations away from like the 70s and the 80s? Anyone? So again, this is my thought. Too many accidents. That's why they took the combinations out. But let me tell you something. You have the horse show nannies that are yelling at the kids with way too sharp bits in the wrong classes to go faster, 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 faster. With zero accountability because we don't have steward pit bulls and rules that put them in their place. So they can do it. They can do the shit they want, right? So then instead of making the sport better, oh, and the combinations. Okay, on another note there, you know how many times sometimes the course stands there like the whole day? I have spent this days at a horse show at the same ring, walking different heights with different students, where the combination was set in the morning and never moved until the end of the day. Somewhere in the middle, so for the low classes, it was stinking long. For the high classes, it was dangerously deep, but it got never moved. So, instead of fixing the issue where it needs to be fixed by having properly, again, use the steward as the pit bull. Course walk. They walk the course, they measure the combination. If that's not according to the height, you call the people and you say like, hey guys, don't be lazy, set it properly. Again, which steward would do that is paid by the horse show? Because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. But if a proper federation would pay the stewards to enforce proper rules to make a good sport and not just an exhibition, they would have the means to go in there and say like, guys, dangerous, way too long for this height, you got to shorten it up. This is your measuring stick, this is where it goes. But then again, that would be a smart way for a sports organization to deal with it, right? Am I right? Tell me I'm wrong. And then you just have crazy people at the warm-up ring that hype their kids up and yell and kick and run, and now these untrained little minions with the sharp bits are flying around, ill-trained, ill-prepared, dangerous, which your sports federation allows. And then instead of making the sport better, you just say like, just take the combinations out, make it even more dummy proof so we can have more uneducated people run around the small classes. Tell me I'm wrong. So, this is one thing. I think I should go to, okay. So just show of hands, right? If you guys want me to do that, put a bunch of green hearts into the comments. If you want me to do that, put a bunch of green hearts into the comments right now. I should go to Yusuf, kick in the door, cancel all these stupid committees, insert myself as the supreme leader. I like that title. Supreme Leader Ronny. And then I would shut the whole horse show circuit down for 3 months. No horse shows for 3 months. Summer break, spring break, fall break, whatever, winter break. 3 months, no horse shows. Complete overhaul of the Dance Moms organization and start implementing proper horsemanship, horse protecting rules, regulations, and then basically burn it all down, start it all up, do it properly, like a sports organization should be, and not just like the general manager of horse show organizers, where they're just like, they put the money in their pocket and they feed it out to like overstaffed committees and all that kind of stuff, and they act like they're doing, but they're not really doing, right? Like I said, tell me I'm wrong. Invite me to Kentucky. Tell me I'm wrong. Show me firsthand. But you got to pay for my plane ticket. Yeah. Shut it all down. 3 months. No horse shows. Pick a couple of good months where there's not that many horse shows anymore, because like then you're gonna hear all these like billionaire horse show owners. Oh my God! How are we gonna survive? I'm down to my last 10 million. 3 months. You can take a 3 months vacation. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna die. Everything will be fine, right? And then relaunch it. New rules, new everything, start fresh from the get-go. Judges, stewards, paid by the sports organization and are there to enforce rules that are first and foremost horse-orientated, horsemanship, certified proper trainers. All these like horse show nannies. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Like, but and like you can't be mad at me. Like, if I want to be a Formula One driver, they're gonna tell me I don't cut it. So if you're not good enough to be a horse trainer, why should you cut it? So that more horses can suffer? Because this is the absolute end result of it. Our horses suffer because of that. Tell me I'm wrong.